Welcome to this episode of Vitam Virtual. My name is Mikael Greiling, Swine Development Manager at Vitam International. Today with me is Jonathan Miles, who is the Managing Director at Nutrotech. So Jonathan, who is Nutrotech and what role do you play in the industry?
Mikael, Nutrotech is an owner-managed premix and specialty feed additive manufacturer. We're based in Pretoria. We have two unique production facilities as well as a distribution center. We operate mainly in Southern Africa and Eastern Africa, but we also have a few key customers outside of Africa, outside of the African continent, and there we seem to operate quite well against the global integrated businesses. In terms of the role we play in industry, Mikael, it's quite a difficult question to answer as we fulfill many roles in the various segments of industry that we represent. But if I have to single out what we do in the swine industry, I think we supply high-level technical services to farmers, feed millers, and even consultants that we work with. And I think our main pride is that we offer one of the best technical and product services in our market.
So we understand that the swine industry in general is facing so many challenges at the moment. I think personally the most influential challenge would be rising input cost, while at the same time the pork producer is not getting the pork price that they actually need or want. So what is your opinion in this matter?
Yes, Mikael, I think that major grain prices are putting the whole supply chain under a lot of pressure, and the income over feed cost is not as favorable as it should be. There doesn't seem to be any relief short term, and even global events such as the Ukrainian and Russian war seem to be putting pressure on certain key ingredients such as feed phosphates, even fertilizers, which has a knock-on effect on major grains. And yeah, as I mentioned, the income over feed cost is not favorable to the pork producers at the moment. Furthermore, global and local economies are under pressure and consumer spending is down, and this is just leading to softer meat prices, especially pork. And South Africa has got a history of having lower than normal pork prices.
Would you say that there is a positive turn of events in the near or further into the future?
Mikael, very short term, there seems to be a small little upward trend in pork prices, and we are going into the festive season, which is obviously good for business, was always been good for business in the pork industry. So hopefully the producers can cash in a little bit into the festive season, and hopefully that the consumers will continue their historic patterns of buying more over the festive season. But if we look at things like the global economies, including South African economy, and things like the volatility of the South African rand, it doesn't make for pretty reading. And unfortunately, that's the part where we're unsure about. We don't know what's going to be going on in quarter one and quarter two next year. But yeah, that I think is the challenge that we're going to face. On the more technical side, which is I think the side that we're more dealing with, is I'm very excited because in the last 2 to 3 years there have been some really awesome technical advancements that have been made by feed additive companies or new research and even genetic companies. And if farmers are willing and able to apply these principles along with certain industry leaders, I think that there's a lot of scope to improve profitability on farm.
Yes, indeed. It's so exciting to see new research coming out, R&D continuing to develop, and at the end it helps the producer as well as the nutritionist to put the best product out there. So you as a premix manufacturer, you're obviously bombarded with countless companies trying to get their products into your premix. Is there any specific criteria that you look at when choosing a specific product?
Mikael, yes, we have a huge amount of companies coming through our doors to try and sell us their services and products. And I think it can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming, especially to the unexperienced nutritionists. But we apply a very simple approach at Nutrotech, or my approach, which I suppose is followed through within the rest of the company. And that is we use Mike Hutchins' 4R approach, which is we we assess the scientific and applied research, and from that we look at the field reports that have come out on the products or on the services, and from that we try and establish anticipated response that we will get on farm. And if we can see that there's something valuable in the products, and we'll do a simulation of an economic return, and from the economic return, if it makes financial sense in our market, which is obviously a lot different to other markets, then we'll take it to one of our key customers, where we'll do an on-farm study and see if it actually works as well as it's reported to do. If it passes all those tests, then it becomes a standard in our application, and we actually become advocates of that technology to our partners in industry.
So you focus a lot on return on investment also at the end of your decision to, obviously it has to pay for itself but also make money for the customer.
Yeah, I think return on investment's the most important factor. That's why we leave it for last. It's often difficult to measure return on investment, especially on farm level, particularly when you're talking about additives. So we often leave that to last. The science must check out. We must know what we're looking for. We must be able to measure it, and then at the end of the day, we must have a return on investment that is 4-1, 3-1 at an absolute minimum. And these are the type of things we're looking for in products.
Thank you, Jonathan. It was a privilege to have you in the studio. Thank you for your time and sharing your view of the industry itself and also what you do at Nutritech for the industry.
Thank you, Mikhail. Thank you very much for having me here.
It is important for the industry to work together with trusted partners to make a difference on farm level.